We've got a brand new edition of the Screen Team, and it's right here on today's Talk 930 KWOC and 93.3 FM. Today, we have got the legend himself, Mr. Michael Bowling. Michael, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Chris. How are you?
Doing great, man. It's been a while since we got a chance to talk to you. How are things going with you?
Things are going great so far. I've started a new semester at Southeast Missouri State University. I'm being worked to the bone, so I've been pretty busy lately.
Well, cool, man. We're glad things are going well for you, and I'm glad you were able to do the Screen Team show with us. What are the movies we have we're going to be reviewing tonight?
Tonight we have Saw, we have Darkman, and White House Down.
All right, man. We're going to get right into it. Let's start off with the movie Saw. This is a movie that came out back in, I believe, 2004. This movie kind of started a brand new kind of genre of movies. I'm not sure what quite to call it, but it's like a film gore kind of entity, and this was the first one that kind of started it all. What is it about Saw that you dig?
The plot. It has one of the most original and convoluted plots in almost any film I've ever watched. And I'm not just talking about the first one, but throughout the entire series, there's this overarching plot line that at the end of each movie, it makes you like, oh my gosh, what happens next?
Right.
But the first one, I believe, is arguably the best because, like you said, it's the first kind of its kind, and it's just its plot line is probably what my favorite part about it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. There's a lot of things about the movie I don't like, but the plots and definitely the twist at the end are what really intrigues me, and what intrigues me about the rest of the films as well. I'm not into the gore that these movies represent, but I am into the storyline and trying to guess what the hook's going to be at the very end. Do you feel the same way?
I do, except I kind of dig gore.
See,
that's the difference. I don't really know what it is. I don't know. I guess it's just me. It's just a me thing.
Okay, you see, I want to point something out because I've known you for a couple of years. We've done movie reviews, for quite a while. I don't like to judge books by the cover, but I would never have guessed that you were into Saw or those kind of gore movies. I mean,
really?
Yeah. I mean, you like the superhero films. You like films like that. But I never would have thought that you, Michael Bowling, were into the horror genre.
Well, you learn something new every day, but it is a little bit more complex than that. It's not just like give me as much gore as you can get. I don't care about anything else.
Right.
It's I like it to have a bit of message to it. Like the reason it's so great in Saw is because of how it's executed. Pardon the pun, but it's because it goes along with the story and it's so unique and different from other movies that it's just like it makes it almost. I don't want to say appealing because that would make me sound like a psychopath, but it's definitely different, and I appreciate its kind of no holds barred attitude when it comes to it.
The film's got some pretty big stars for that time. Cary Ells was, I guess, the biggest star of the movie. He played Dr. Lawrence Gordon. You also had Danny Glover and Monica Potter in there as well. What did you think about the cast for this film?
I didn't have any problems with it. Yeah, Cary Ells is probably the only one in there that I can immediately recognize. Mm-hmm. I know there's a guy in there who had a role in Lost.
Michael Emerson, man, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, but Cary Ells is probably my favorite one because Robin Hood. I love that movie, so. Yeah, he's probably, but I didn't have any issues with the cast at all, so I thought it was well casted for the most part.
Okay, what'd you think about the acting in the film? Did you enjoy the acting?
Yeah, I thought it was acted very well. I wouldn't say it was superb but it got the job done. And this is a film franchise that you don't have to act extremely well, as long as you get the dialogue across and get the story moving. That it's cool. But for this movie, I thought it was very well done.
Okay, don't give it away, but what did you think about the ending? Like, when you first saw this film, were you blown away by the ending? Because I know I was.
Oh, my goodness. You have no idea. Because the first time I watched it on, I think it was AMC. It was either AMC or Sci-Fi. I can't remember. It's been a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. But I watched it with my mom and my brothers. and that was the only reason she let us watch it because since it would be on TV, she thought it would be like censor out the bad stuff in it. But surprisingly enough, Mom actually really enjoyed it. She's the one who got like the rest of the series, and we all watched it together. It was kind of a family thing. It was kind of weird, but yeah, the first time I saw that ending, I was in awe. I was sitting there in awe with like my mouth agape, and I was like, oh my goodness. It was like, I don't want to say anything because, like you said, I don't want to spoil it, but I don't really think I can say anything else other than the fact that this is the movie that defines plot twists.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a jaw dropper. So we've got Saw, and you said earlier that you like the rest of the Saw films, but the question I want to pose to you right now is, which one is your favorite?
Probably the first one, just because it's the one that got us started, and because it probably has the biggest plot twist out of all. The rest of them have, pretty big plot twists, but I think, there's really nothing like sitting through your first Saw plot twist. It's almost like sitting through the first Avengers. Like Avengers: Age of Ultron was amazing, but just didn't have the same feel to it as seeing all those superheroes together on one screen for the first time. So while the rest of the Saw movies are at least equally as great, you'll never, have that moment again where you sit through the first Saw movie and you're just like, oh my gosh. So I have to say the first one is probably my favorite.
I don't want to give it away. I agree with you. I think the first ending was definitely the best. But there was one that I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that how'd they pull that off. But like the ending of Saw 4, I thought was genius. We'll talk about it off mic because I don't want to give it away. But I thought Saw 4 ending was complete genius, man. So obviously we're here in Halloween time, and I think this is don't you think this is a good film to watch during the Halloween season?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't have a Halloween feel to it. I wouldn't go as far as to call this movie a horror movie because it's really. I mean, it does have, I guess, some horror aspects to it, like the whole, getting trapped, everything. But I wouldn't really call it a horror movie. I would probably categorize this as almost like a psychological thriller, possibly.
Okay.
So, but it's still, perfect movie for Halloween time. It's a great, there are tons of like marathons you like to watch on Halloween. You have Friday the 13th, Jason. I would definitely throw the Saw series in there just because of how iconic it is.
There you go. There's Saw for you here on the Screen Team. Coming up after the break, we'll review White House Down. That's next on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.